Here today with Coach Cody Day of the Colmesneil Bulldogs. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing good, doing good. So one of the things we're trying to do in these interviews is kind of take people through the different paths that coaches have taken to get where they are. So if you don't mind, take us through how you wound up coaching at Colmesneil, your previous coaching stops, etc.
Yes, sir. Well, I realized early on in college that I wanted to be a coach, and that's kind of what I felt called to do. To impact kids, and plus, I just loved being around competition, being around athletic events. It didn't take me long in college to figure that out. So once I figured that out, I actually helped coach a little bit the last couple of years I was in college at a private school nearby. Um, and I had some titles that may have looked okay on a resume, but I knew absolutely nothing. I knew absolutely nothing. Um, and from there, I was very, very fortunate uh, to be hired on at Normandy after I graduated. I threw all kinds of resumes out there. I had very little connections. It's not like I had family connections, into coaching or anything like that, friends, dads, or anything. And so I just threw all the resumes out there. Unfortunately, Brian Mullinex called me from Normandy and got on there for several years. Learned a lot. We had a really good staff there. From there, went to Frankston as the defensive coordinator. Worked with Matt Nally and several other coaches that are head coaches now. Great staff. I felt like we really learned a lot from each other. Then moved on to West Hardin, became the head coach and athletic director there for a few years, and from there came to Colmesneil.
So you mentioned a few of the coaches you coached under and coached with. Now, as a head coach, you're in a position where you're a mentor to your assistants, some of which are probably more experienced than you are in coaching. How do you handle that, all that dynamic of being the mentor and preparing these coaches for whatever is going to be next for them?
Sure. Well, I've actually got several ex-AD head football coaches on my staff, two of them to be exact. And to be honest, I learn a lot from them. I lean on them a little bit, in games a little bit, in program questions a little bit, just because they've been through some things that maybe I haven't been through.
Okay, Coach, you're muted. Coach, you're muted.
I want them to grow in the faith as well. And so I'd love to see them to be athletic directors and head football coaches as well. So we try to mentor those young guys to be good teachers, not just to our students, to our athletes, but also to our younger coaches to kind of grow them. One of the things that I was kind of thrown in the fire with early to be a head coach is there's a lot of things that you really don't realize go into it, whether it's PAPFs or POs or whatever it may be. And so we try to give those guys materials that they can kind of look over and get some of that info that maybe we were thrown into the fire with when we first got our first head jobs.
Now, you're a coach in a small community. When my wife asked me where is Colmesneil, I say it's just north of Woodville. She says, "Where's Woodville?" So, but with that comes it's a small community, and it's the kind of community where they don't ask you if you're going to the football game on Friday night. They tell you what happens. And they do some things. You do some things there at the in your fall practice. You have a midnight madness. Talk a little bit about that event, but really just the sense of community in a small town.
Well, I mean, it really is very unique. You really know everybody in the school. We've got 126 kids in our high school, and everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows their families, all that type of stuff. You pretty much know all the junior high kids. You know a lot of the elementary kids. We're all on one campus. Really, there's a driveway in between the junior high / high school to the elementary. So we're all together all the time. So there's a great sense of community. It's Teacher Appreciation Week, and pretty much every business in the town has contributed something to the teachers during this week. So everybody knows everybody. Everybody wants their kids to be successful, and we're just so close knit because there's really ain't that many of us, and so it's unique. I mean, we've got kids that are playing football that also may be in the band, that also may do one act, that also may be in UIL academic, also be in FFA. So it can get stressful, especially in the spring when you got everything going on except for football and volleyball, pretty much. But we make it work.
All right. Well, let's talk a little football. So, pretty good year last year. What do you have coming back, and what do you think you look like for the fall?
Well, we're excited about next year. We'll have around 15 seniors next year, which for our size school is a lot. We were 6-4 last year, so it was our first winning season since 2013. So we were excited about that. A couple of big wins for us, but we've had a good off season. Matter of fact, we're testing today, and we're excited about that, and excited to see what these times look like and all that type of thing. We had a good track season. We were district runner-ups for the boys, and we were district champions for the girls. So we're really excited about that, and we're really kind of hungry for the fall. The kids are constantly saying, "Hey, coach, I'm really ready for football," that type of stuff. So we got a new district. We've got to be ready for the challenges that come with that. We're still keeping Lovelady from our previous district, but outside of that, it's all new teams. So we've got to be ready to go and do what it takes to be successful.
All right. Now, you've been a supporter of 7-on-7. The first ever you hosted when you were at West Hardin, the first ever Division III state 7-on-7 qualifier. You hosted a Division III 7-on-7 state qualifier last year. You hosted another one this year. Talk a little bit of what you think the value of that is for a small school like Colmesneil.
Well, I think it's big because our kids do so many various things. We don't get nearly as much spring work as a lot of these larger schools. And so it's an opportunity for us to throw and catch, for us to cover people, for those kids to work on some things that we don't have as much time as we would like to work on. So it's a big deal. And anytime you're competing, that's a positive thing. So they're out there competing against other people. We haven't done any 7-on-7 stuff yet. That'll probably come next week for us. And then, we're about a little over about a month and a week away from the SQT that we're going to host here. So I think it's a big deal. Is it all of what football is? No, but you're throwing and catching, and you need to work on that. You need to work on covering people, and anytime you're competing, it's a good thing.
Yeah, anytime you can get a similar group of kids together doing anything is a good thing.
Yes,
so last question before I let you go. The hard one. Tell me something about Cody Day that most people don't know.
I'm an audiobook nerd. I listen to audiobooks all the time. I'm going through multiple audiobooks a month. I mean, I'm all about them.
I do a lot of that driving around Texas, so
Yes.
I'm right there with you. All right, Coach. Well, thank you very much for your time today, and best of luck with the upcoming season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.